The new generation of house buyers expect their homes to be defects-free. There's a dire lack of industrial quality standards that are compatible with public interest, an expectation which has resulted in many disputes over the rectification of defects, as developers, contractors, and house buyers have different expectations. House buyers had to be made aware of the issues they face and to demand quality for the huge sum of money they are paying for their property. Now, in this episode, I would like to dwell on the issues titled New Doesn't Mean Perfect vis-a-vis purchase from housing developers. I would like to read two of my complaints which I have received. I received the keys to my homes, and to our dismay, the property has many defects, ranging from minor problems to major alignment of the walls and beams. The developer is rectifying the minor defects, but is not willing to align the walls or beams that have been placed improperly. How can I have the process of rectification expedited, as we are paid in full and are still unable to occupy the house? Complaint 2. The floor tiles in my apartment's living room are not properly fixed. When one walks over them, they give a certain hollow sound. There are at least 30 floor tiles with these problems. Also, the edges of the walls where the tiles meet are not properly done. I submitted a complaint form, but the developers have not done anything to rectify them. Now it's been almost 12 months, and every time we call to ask about the repairs, they tell us they could not find the right colored tiles. We are told that the only alternative is for us to change all the tiles, with the developers only bearing the cost of workmanship. Over the years, the National House Buyers Association (HBA) has recorded thousands of complaints from house buyers who are not satisfied with the condition of their new homes or the way defects are rectified. The complaints above are just two of them, and the same complaints are constantly repeated by different owners in different housing schemes. Construction defects ranges from complex structural issues which threaten the integrity of the building to simple items relating to aesthetics. After receiving the keys to their houses, the smile on the buyer's face soon fades when they are caught in a situation of getting the multiple defects in their homes rectified satisfactorily. The new generation of home buyers expect their homes to be defects-free. The quality of houses, which although have improved over the past decade, has not kept pace with buyers' expectation in both designs and finishes. There is also a lack of industry quality standards that are compatible with public interest and expectation, which has resulted in many disputes over the rectification of defects, as developers, contractors, and house buyers have different expectations. Let me take you to the clause on defects liability period, DLP. The predetermined defects liability period in the sale and purchase agreement states that the developer is required to repair and make good at their own cost and expense any defects, shrinkage, or other faults that become apparent within a period of 24 months after the delivery of vacant possession, and which can be attributed to defective workmanship, materials, or failure to construct the property in accordance with the plans and description appended to the sale and purchase agreement within 30 days of having received written notice from the purchaser. The second part of the clause states that the purchaser shall, at any time after the expiry of 30 days notice, notify the developer of the cost of repairing and make good of the state defects by giving the developer a further grace period of 30 days. Essentially, the following is what buyers has to do if he finds defects in his new home. 1. List down all the defects in writing. Take pictures of them if possible. Make sure the developer receives the defects list either by registered post, by electronic mail, or by delivery by hand with acknowledgement of receipt. If the developer is responsive, he will do rectification work within 30 days from the date of receipt. The buyer should go through the list of defects with the developer to discuss a rectification work schedule. He must also be prepared to spend time or appoint someone to be around for the appointed contractor to do their work. If the developer is unresponsive, get a detailed quotation from a reputable independent contractor for the cost of repair and making good the defects. Give the developer a second notice and the stipulated 30 days grace period to do rectification work as stated in the defects liability period clause. The buyer may recover a cost or any sum of the repairs from a developer stakeholder lawyers after giving written notification to withhold release of the stakeholder sum, that 5% purchase price as stated in the schedule of payment in the sale and purchase agreement. Well, you could adopt the sample template that is in HBA's website at www.hba.org.my. If you do not know how to handle the issues relating to DLP, please appoint a lawyer versed in housing issues. Appoint a building inspector when necessary. Although the law provides a 24-month warranty for owners to refer defects to the developer, buyers do not know what to look out for as they don't have the expertise to suss out or foresee inconspicuous defects. Many are unaware that getting building inspector to inspect their homes can save them a lot of headaches at the end of the day. By getting these professionals to conduct defects check, owners will be able to identify problems early and get them rectified before they escalate. They have the trained eyes to identify faults disguised by its cosmetic improvement, which may be missed by the layman. Most architects and building surveyors double up as building inspectors in Malaysia. The inspectors' fees ranges from 500 ringgit to 3,000 ringgit. Will examine a property and submit a report which includes recommendation for follow-up action. The awareness of the availability of such a service in the country is still low. Typically, a thorough inspection should pinpoint structural cracking or deformity on walls, roof and floors, dampness leading to rotting or unsound structures, damage to timber caused by fungal decay, wood boars, termites or industries chemical, defective plumbing and drainage system, water leakage, unevenness of flooring, superficial repair work, and etc. etc. etc.
There's that report you wanted, boss.
In addition, some building inspectors may even estimate the cost of remedial defects found. Most of the time, these reports are submitted to the Tribunal for Home Buyers Claim when an aggrieved buyer makes a claim for monetary compensation and technical claims. Very often, building inspectors are summoned to the tribunal as an expert witness to challenge developers' rebuttals. So what's next? Well, besides the legal steps, buyers should band together. Contact neighbors who have similar difficulties in getting defects rectified. You may have more in common than you think. There is power in numbers, and you can share tasks to lighten the workload. The main objective is to convince the developer that you are serious in getting the defects rectified properly. The affected buyers could collectively lodge a complaint with the Enforcement Division of the National Housing Department, Ministry of Housing and Local Government, with a view that it will intervene and subtly convene a meeting with all the parties concerned. Details of the said Enforcement Division will be in the screen. Now, remember that quality of construction works in your neighborhood will affect the property resale value and possibly your safety. Now, I want to go into this issue about filing a claim in the Tribunal for Home Buyers Claim. House buyers who are caught in dispute with their housing developers over non-remedial of defects, sinkage, defective workmanship or materials or other technical faults are at liberty to file their claim at the Tribunal of Home Buyers Claim. In short, we call it Housing Tribunal. The Housing Tribunal was set up as an alternative forum for home buyers to save them the cost and hassle of fighting with housing developers in the civil court. The filing fee is only 10 ringgit. No lawyer is required and hearing are normally fixed within a month. The Housing Tribunal is empowered to hear disputes between house buyers and licensed housing developers, but the claim must be filed within the time frame stated under Section 16N of the Housing Development Control and Licensing Act 1966, and the monetary claim must not exceed 50,000 ringgit. Check out the link to the Housing and Local Government Ministry's website vis-a-vis Tribunal at www.kpkt.gov.my. Tribunal Tuntutan Pembeli Rumah. Question 1, Dato Chang. I heard of Construction Industry Development Board, CIDB, moving towards making quality standard in the form of acronym KULASSIK. Could you enlighten the listener? Well, excellent question. The acronym KULASSIK, QLASSIC, stands for Standard of the Quality Assessment System in Construction. KULASSIK. Now, only a handful of housing developers has adopted and subjected their product to the strict KULASSIK standard of construction. The first quality standard in Malaysia is by Skyworld. Skyworld Quality Centre situated in Setapak. In their effort and initiative to transforming the construction industry, they have embraced this practice by adopting Kulasic as a selling point, as we understand that quality of a construction and materials used are the main concern among property buyers. It will also reduce or eliminate reconstruction and repair works, which often leave buyers no choice other than to remain optimistic and hoping that the workmanship and material used to construct the properties will be of acceptable quality. Besides the Kulasic pledge by the Ministry of Works, the Construction Industry Development Board (CIDB) are also embracing and adopting the Construction Industries Transformation Program (CITP), which is the national agenda to transform the construction industries, where contractors are to adopt CITP with the primary objective of transforming the construction industry to be highly productive, environmentally sustainable, and globally competitive, and with focus on safety and quality standards. In this regard, we must recognize that quality, safety, and professionalism are primary prerequisites towards transforming the construction industry into a responsible, developed industries instead of constantly being plagued with shoddy workmanship and substandard material. But alas, it is currently merely on a voluntary basis and not made mandatory as yet. HBA hope that it will one day be mandatory. My second question, Dato' Chang, they are housing developers that actually have good workmanship and do not cut corners. They don't ask the contractors to use more sand than cement when building a house. They actually deliver good products and make good any defects, if any. Could you tell us more of those good developers? Any good developers out there? I won't use the word good developers, as the word good is not in my vocabulary when describing housing developers. However, they are responsible one in the midst, and more are joining that category. The housing industry has come a long way since the advent of large-scale housing development in the late 50s and early 60s. The play in those times were bona fide entrepreneur with good kapala and tausau, or right-hand man. Most probably, conscience, rules, and pride in workmanship, timely delivery of quality and affordable homes were their hallmark. We at HBA do keep our ears open for the qualities of responsible developers to be emulated. In the first place, how do buyers judge if the developers have been responsible? The construction industry is a very unique field. It is one of a few professions where no formal education is required. There's no formal award-giving ceremony by buyers to tell the world that their developers have been good and responsible. There are also some other things the responsible developer do that prove that they have a passion for the profession. Now, surf the internet for an article that I have published titled Traits of a Responsible Developer. The responsible developer do not just depend on their buyers to pass around the word of their reputation. No new project is an island. There are existing neighboring projects, trees, etc. A responsible developer ensures that the existing neighborhood is not disturbed by the new development. If there are any complaints like cracks, landslide, floods that the new construction is causing to the existing neighborhood, they are quickly attended to. They also ensure that the existing roads are kept clean from construction activities. Takes pride in quality and timely rectification is crucial. Whether low-cost or high-cost houses, chasing the developer to rectify shocking defects, bad workmanship is a nightmare to buyers who lose out while waiting for repair work. Responsible developers do their own quality checks before handing over the product. Caring developer do practice the following before handing over the product. 1. Adopt quality checks at all stages of construction, test and commission utility supplies. 2. Clear and clean individual units and construction site from construction debris. 3. Ensure that the Certificate of Compliance and Completion (CCC) is timely with the handover. Retain a team of competent workers to do rectification promptly if there are complaints on defects. And of course, keeping sufficient stock of the product like floor tiles of the same quality and make. See, some developers even extend the mandatory defects liability period of 24 months. We have also heard of developers providing alternative lodging for their buyers while waiting for defects to be corrected. Now, good communication is important. The line of communication should always be open between buyers and the developers. It is obvious to do so for the obvious reasons. Keeping buyers informed of the ongoing projects and the product. Developers not to appear having shunned away their responsibility. Treating the buyers with respect, as buyers can serve as the marketing tool. Show respect and you will gain respect. Transparency and accountability on monies collected. Providing regular accounting reports and budgets. Voicing of any grievances rather than through the media, which will bring adverse effects to the detrimental of both parties. There are responsible developers whose names are synonymous with quality and trust. They are able to win over buyers' confidence. Today, they have created their own brand names. No wonder some developers do not advertise. Yet, all their units are sold out even before the official launched.
I'm afraid we're all sold out.
Now, thank you for your excellent questions. My next talk will be titled, Not All Apartments Are the Same, where I will offer comparisons between under the Housing Development Control and Licensing Act and those not governed under the housing law. Now, see you in the next episode. Cheers.